It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you? My pleasure as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm good, thank you, and I'm grateful to have you on. And I just want to say thank you to the guys at Ryan's show and those guys for connecting me with you, and it really means a lot. And I just kind of thought I'd get into what you do. So like you're a rapper, music artist, and I really like your music, and I just want to talk about how you kind of got into that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Again, thank you for having me on. Shout out to Ryan for sure. Yeah, rattle it off. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so like your kind of like background and how you kind of got into music, like where did that kind of start? Like how did you kind of get into this kind of industry?
I was thinking about that this morning because I knew you were going to ask me something like that, and I always get asked that question. So I'll just break it down like this. The first sounds of music I ever heard was Billy Ray Cyrus, the Boogie Woogie
Hmm.
Choo Choo Train, if you even know that. And then
I've
I
heard
got
of that, yeah.
into Nirvana, the rock band. I was huge with them, thanks to my father and my mother and my cousins. And then I started dabbling into rock bands like Eddie Van Halen
Hmm.
and Kiss. And that was all kind of like when I was real young, maybe 6, 7. And then around 9 or 10 years old, I heard Nelly's Country Grammar. You know that album
I've heard of it.
by Nelly? Okay. And the rest has been history. Lil Wayne was on that album.
Hmm.
Then the whole Southern movement came with Little John and Little White and Too Short and Little Flip. And Too Short's not from the South, but and now I'm here. So
Yeah,
I just fell in love with hip hop as soon as I heard it.
yeah.
Long story short.
That's awesome. And I think like music's powerful, and music can definitely, change the way you think and change the way you look at things. And there's a lot of power in music and a lot of energy in music. And I think it's like an outlet, isn't it, in some way? Like you see a lot of artists and like what they're doing, and they take their experiences and they put it into like a funnel, and put it into the music, and it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's quite amazing. You think of like Eminem and people like that.
Yeah, when it comes from a real place, that's when it's something special.
Yeah.
Even if you're using your imagination, like Eminem, for example, those thoughts and those feelings that are behind those creations are real. Those are
Hmm.
things he really felt, come from places, and experiences he really endured.
Hmm.
But you're totally right with the feeling thing. Like even with rock music, I like the feeling it gave me from the rip. And then when I heard rap, you match that feeling with those bars, it's
Hmm.
over.
Yeah, that's it. And I listened to like a few of your songs, and I like the song Johnny, like when you got the car, and it's the music that goes with it. It just locks you in like straight away. I like, uh, excuse me. How do you kind of pick the music? Do you find any like challenges with trying to pick the music with the song, if that makes sense? Like kind of putting it together.
You're talking about like the beat?
Yeah.
I do have a hard time finding beats, to be honest with you. I'm very selective. I have a hard time finding something different
Hmm.
or something that I can hear myself going over in a way I can't hear anybody else going over it. Johnny was just one of them ones. I heard it, those trumpets on that thing.
Hmm.
Oh man, I said, this is how I feel when I'm up. I feel trumpets, I feel big
Yeah.
Johnny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, every beat's got to give me a feeling like that. It's got to give me a
Hmm.
feeling of, oh, this takes me back here, or oh, this is me in beat form.
Hmm. No,
And it's not easy to find those.
I love that, and I think like I listen to the ones. Is it called Still Gooder? Still
Still
Gooder
good. Yeah.
with the viol. There's like a violin on it as well.
Yeah,
Or
that's actually a remix of an old track back then by Mike Jones. And Lala is too. But again, those are beats that I grew up on
Mm.
and I really identified with. I don't love every beat I hear, especially not on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that you can do that. You can take music that you like and like old music and kind of remix it and kind of improvise on that.
It's new for me. I never really did that. I started doing it this year, but it is different. You're right. It's a whole nother mindset,
No, that's
especially
awesome.
when you
'Cause-
know the original song.
yeah, that's it. And you can kind of put it into something that you, I think as well, like you have passion for what you're doing, you know, and I think that's so important to find. And that's something I talk about quite a lot. And that's something that I feel like I found, you know, podcasting and doing this and connecting with people and trying to find something that you're, you know, you're passionate about in doing. You know, I always, you know, that's why I like connecting with people like yourself because you know, you're doing something that you believe in, something that you are passionate about and enjoy. And I think that's kind of like part of being a person, isn't it? I think that's kind of what we should be doing, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
No, you nailed it on the money. I'm obsessed with it. It's all I think about. So to be honest with you, I went to college. I graduated from college, and I played the game to go finance and marketing and whatever your guidance counselors will tell you. In my head, it was music, music, music. I wanted to write. This hunger and belief in myself that I am one of the best lyricists on the planet, and I am one of the best song makers on the planet. That's always just been ticking in my head, even when I was in class. So when I graduated college, I saw what the jobs were like. I said, "Fuck this, man." This in my head, that it won't go away, bro. The obsession with music won't go away. So that's why I do it, and it's been a journey ever since, for sure. But I love it, man. I love it. I
Yeah.
eat it, sleep it, breathe it.
No, I respect that, and I think like you know with music and like you said, it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey, and there's a process to it. You know, like in making music and making content, and people think it's you know kind of on the straight and narrow, and it's like you know straight away, and it takes you know there's a lot of time that goes into it, a lot of energy that goes into it, and there's a lot of I suppose like you know when you make your music like I've got a friend who makes music and he does singing as well, and I don't hear from him all week because he's on
Right.
his music. You know, he's making his music. Do you get people who sometimes don't understand if that makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. Um, yo, I 100%. You got friends that want to know why you can't see them on the weekends, or even if I'm free, sometimes I just don't want to kick it with you because I'm in a creative zone. And when I kick it with you, we're drinking beers, we're watching TV, you're taking me out of my zone. And then I got to come back to myself when you go home. So you got to explain that to friends, you got to explain that to women. You don't got time for all that, especially not commitment. Um, because this music industry takes a lot out of you. It's you got to be creative as Lil Wayne and Kanye, but you also got to be business savvy as the execs in today's game because everybody's trying to shark you. And balancing that while also releasing beautiful music, that's not an easy thing to do. So, like you said, people don't understand it, especially when you're trying to be something, when you're trying to be like I'm trying to be the top dog. I have a lot to prove. I do believe in my craft and what I do. Not everybody is trying to do that. Some people are comfortable where they're at, or they'd be comfortable just to get a hot single. My vision's way beyond that. So because that's where my mind is at, I don't got time to kick it with you. I don't got time to go on dates. And for your average person, that's not normal. When people are thinking about kids, settling down, when guys are talking about they might get married, they need you for their wedding, that you're to be their best man. They don't understand. I'm married to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is my wife. I gotta make her happy. So Yeah, man, it's a complicated concept.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's like something that I've been understanding a lot recently. You know, from talking to my friend, and like at the weekend, sometimes I'll play like video games, and I'll message him, and I'm like, "Are you coming on?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just making music." And I used to think to myself, "Oh man, he's what's he talking about?" But now that I'm doing podcasting, and I'm kind of have like a similar obsession with this, you know, and editing content, putting out content. It's very like similar, you know, and I kind of understand it now. I see his side to it, you know, and your side to it, because I'm like, you get this love for it, and when you're passionate about something, you're thinking about your time much more in a different way. You know, like you said, you could go somewhere, and then you, in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, um, it's taking you away from your craft, kind of like that kind of zone, isn't it? And
Yep.
um, I understand it a lot more, and I respect it. Um, but what I think like it's going to pay off. You know, you have to kind of go into that zone and to do what you're doing to get to, you know, X, Y, Z.
100%. 100%.
Um,
And that doesn't mean there's any love lost to your
mm,
friends or the ladies. No love lost just because we don't see each other. It's this is what I'm trying to do, and this is
mm,
what I'm trying to do with my life. Like, I still love you. You're still my man's, or you're still my lady,
mm.
but you're not gonna like me if I don't accomplish what I'm trying to do over here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're not gonna like me if I don't achieve my music dream because I've been dicking off, or I'm living with regrets because I haven't been sharpening my sword every day. You're not
mm,
gonna like that, Jay. So let me do my thing,
mm.
and I'll be back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in a way, in a
That's it.
sense.
That's it. And it's like you've got to do what's right for you, haven't you? And it's like you've got to fulfill your dreams and your goals. And I always talk about like it's important to have like a vision or some kind of thing that you want to work towards. I mean, everyone has different kind of plans, and you know, some people say you need to have a 5 year plan or whatever. But you know, I think it's important in some way to have like a vision you're working towards, if that makes sense.
Sorry, somebody was just calling me on these
Yeah,
computers,
yeah.
man. I hate these things.
It's
Hold
all
on a
right.
second.
Yeah, don't
I
worry.
hate computers, man. Let me figure
Yeah,
out how do I get back to you.
yeah. All right, I'll just pause it
Uh,
a second, 1 minute. Right, yeah, well, sorry, we just disconnected them, but you was talking about like time and kind of where it goes, and you know, valuing your time, especially like you know when you want to get somewhere in what you're doing.
yeah, time is huge. The amount of time you spend on your craft is huge too. Even if, you should always be trying to be productive, but even those moments where you're not being productive, but you're investing time in your craft, it always pays off on the back end. At
Mm,
least for an artist, for example, sometimes I'll go to the studio for 5 hours, walk out with nothing, just played a bunch of beats. But that next session, I'm as hungry as a dog, and I'm gonna make
mm,
the best record there is.
mm,
And that's the time that people don't really understand. Like, as a
mm,
podcaster, I don't know exactly what goes into that, but I'm sure there's times where you got to do work that doesn't really manifest anything in the physical form,
mm.
but it does something to your brain, or it
Yeah.
sharpens your craft to where whatever you're doing next,
Mm.
you can thank that wasted time you just did the day before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. 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 No, definitely. Yeah, I definitely. That's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I think that you know, like for the podcast, you know, like a lot of time goes into you know emails, you know, networking, making the content, editing it, the social media,
Right.
creating the image, creating the images for it, the post, you know, the thumbnail, so to speak, and just trying to be different and creative and trying to have different guests on that kind of thing. So like a lot goes into it. And, sometimes I'll be editing podcasts or uploading the content. It's like 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock, and I'm like, think to myself, there's something here, you know, like there's a lot of people won't be doing this. I was like, this is a different kind of field. You're probably like you with your music. You might be editing music or making music at a stupid time of night.
Exactly. Exactly. And I can tell you what, I just woke up. where I'm from.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a lot of rappers where I'm from wouldn't even do this in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like you said, there's times when you're in the middle of your work where you can self-reflect and say, all right, I got something here. This might suck. I might be tired, but something's different about me, something special about me. Speaking of that, are you a one-man army over there? Are you doing this whole thing on your own, or you got people to help you?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay, likewise. So you know what that's like.
Yeah. Mm.
It's a lot. You,
Yeah.
you're not sending the files to somebody else to do it. You're doing it all yourself, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a lot, man. Kudos to
Yeah.
you.
No, cheers, man. And same to you as
Yeah.
well. And I think, no, you too. I appreciate that. And I think I speak to a lot of people who do this, and they pay people on Fiverr to like do their a lot of their content for them. I don't know. I quite enjoy it, and I kind of enjoy the process of it. I mean, everyone's different, but I think there's like you do grow. Do you know what I mean? As you mentioned before, there's something that over time you develop, and it's nice to see that process.
And if you believe in yourself, you also have a vision for yourself that I'm sure nobody else can see. And sometimes working with others that might not see your vision just as you see it, that's hard to do. So sometimes it's just best to say, fuck that, let me do it myself. I know what I want. I know how I want it to be. And on Fiverr or whoever else, it's very difficult to find somebody that's on the same wavelength as you. So I think you doing it on your own right now, it's a good move.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. And I think I've had some people who kind of wanted to collab and things like that. And they had kind of different ideas. And I was just kind of like, no, I just, like you said, need to just stay true to this, because like you see it with sometimes companies, you know, they collaborate with someone else and it changes because.
Exactly. It's the same thing with music.
Mm.
I don't collaborate with just any damn artist because I have an empire I'm trying to build. If you fit my empire and we can make what I want to make, that's good. But if we team up and I'm making a lollipop record or whatever with you, that comes back at me. And now I'm looking silly, right? Same thing with you. You can't just team up with anybody. You got to establish yourself. You know, establish your brand first and who you are. And then I think people will start, the right people will start coming to you, not just everybody.
Yeah. It's quite deep, isn't it, when you think about it? There's so many kind of components that kind of go into it, that kind of link to it, that I think until you sit back and you reflect on it, you're like, yeah, you know, you're right. Like, it's something like, I find that I'm a bit like, you know, I'm just doing it. You know, I'm just kind of doing it. Until like you mention things like this, it makes me think about it, you know, in a different way. And I'm like, oh yeah, there is that to it as well. Do you find that?
I feel, or do I find what?
Like when you reflect, you kind of you notice things that probably you didn't previously.
Oh, definitely. Even just with the songs I make, like I'm one of those artists where I'll make a song and I think it's the worst. I think I'm terrible. The engineer will say, "Yo, this is fucking fire. What do you? We got to put this out tonight." And I say, "I don't know, man. I stumbled over that. I hate the way I said that." But give me 2 days, I'll play that song and I'll hear what you're hearing. Like you said, I'll sit back on the record, play it. I say, "Oh, okay, this is fire." I don't know what it was in the moment. Maybe I was too much in work mode or blind to it. But you're right. When you sit back, your whole perspective changes. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely it. And it's like, it's weird because sometimes I've done podcasts, right? And I almost kind of go into a zone sometimes on podcasts. And I can't even remember what I've said in that podcast. And then I watch it back and I'm like, oh yeah, so we talked about that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And you touched on beautiful topics that you didn't even really realize because you're just in the moment.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's it. And
I don't know
I was
what
going to
that
say,
is, man. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that
Yeah,
is. The human consciousness is crazy.
Yeah. I think it's like the flow state, isn't it? It's like flow states when you're in the flow. You're just kind of riding with it.
That too, just like fighters. You're in
Yeah.
the flow state. You're not even really processing what's going on. You're just reacting with what's going on because you know it so
Mm.
well and it comes so natural to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's
100%.
amazing. It's amazing. And I was thinking as well, like, I just thought of this now. Where, like, your ideas for like music videos and that kind of thing, like, where does that kind of come about? Do you kind of play around with ideas, or do you have kind of people who kind of suggest things? Like, how does that kind of work? You have some interests in like music videos, and there's one where you're in like side street at night time, and then there's one where you're on the car, and then there's one like I saw where at the beginning there's like a bed spinning around,
Yeah,
something like
wake
that.
up with the bed. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are all my ideas. Traditionally, I don't really, a couple ideas get thrown to me, suggestions, but the overall ideas are usually mine. I know some people like Kendrick Lamar, they think of the
Mm,
video when they're making the record. I don't. I make the record and the video almost always comes after.
mm,
But all my ideas just stem from being different and being
mm,
me.
mm,
And that is the seed to all of them. It's just being different. If I've seen it before, I'm not that interested in it.
mm.
If you've seen it before, that's different because you might see some shit that I ain't never seen. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty studious and I
Mm,
watch a lot. So if I've seen it before, I try to stay away from it.
yeah. That's it. And I think like you mentioned then, like being like genuine and being yourself. I think that's a massive thing in life. And in the music industry that you're in, being genuine in yourself, and that's something that I think I've learned with podcasting as well. Like, look, there's millions of people who podcasts, and I just kind of do what works for me. Like, do you find that as well? Like, kind of taking inspiration probably from what other people are doing, but doing your own thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be you. Even the
Mm,
things you don't like about yourself, you have to just be you. I always say you got to be you to the youth power, is what I always tell
mm,
people. Just be you,
mm,
you, 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 you. People will gravitate to you because
mm,
you are one of one. You start mimicking this person or pulling from that person and this person, you start getting away from what makes you special and what
mm,
makes you unique. And if you look, the people that are them, those
mm.
are the people the world loves the most. Think of Snoop Dogg, think of Lil Wayne, think of
Yeah.
50 Cent, think of all these, anybody who's just them. Yeah, they're gonna get shade and shit, but people love them
Mm,
because they're just being them.
mm,
Easy as that. So I agree with you that you have to be you. Like
mm,
everybody's different. Be
mm.
so you that it's obnoxious. Just like
Yeah.
that's all I have to just be you. Like
Mm.
I don't know, man. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever heard of Oliver Tree?
Oliver Tree?
Yeah,
Nope.
the music artist Oliver Tree. He's American, and he does like rap music, but he's very like he's a bit like he's very very different, if that makes sense. It's like he has like a bowl he has like a bowl cut. He wears large kind of baggy jeans and 90s clothes,
Yep.
and he yeah, his music he's collaborated with some people, but like there's no one kind of like that I've seen like that before. And it's like same to kind of your music. It's very like, yes, it's rap and it's hip hop, but it's different. Do you know what I mean? You've got your own style to it, and I think that's really unique, isn't it? And I was just thinking as well, like, do you have any kind of like role models or mentors growing up, or like now? Whether that's
Wow.
famous people, personal people, family, or music artists or anything like that.
Well, I appreciate that what you said there. And
Yeah.
in regards to role models, musically, um, my role model was Lil Wayne.
Mm,
Musically, because I got to follow his whole career, and that thing is a movie in itself. Um, and again, just think about when Lil Wayne came out, just how different he was,
mm,
and how you either understood it or you were hating on it. And that's how I feel about me. I feel
mm,
like You either get it or you're hating on it, but this movement's still gonna go, and eventually you're gonna get it. You might be late, and the same thing with your podcast. People are gonna get your vibe or they're not, and the people that aren't, they're gonna catch on too late. And so Lil Wayne musically, and
so I know it's a tricky question. It's not the easiest question in the world.
I can answer it this way. I spent a lot of my life writing, for sure. I was always punished and grounded my whole life, and all you could do was read and write. So a lot of my inspirations musically or anything about myself come from my own mind and what I put on paper and what I was reading in Ed Hardy books or fantasy books, whatever I was reading. And then aside from that, I'm obsessed with Zelda. If you know what Zelda is.
Yes.
Okay. I grew up playing this every day. So writing, Zelda, Lil Wayne, you got Jay Gudda.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I think like it's important to have like kind of role models and things to kind of aspire to, isn't it? And things to kind of draw from and have some things that you enjoy and like. And like Zelda's class. I mean, my brother's got the game on the Switch, I think it is, and it's ridiculously hard. And I haven't got the patience to
Not for everybody.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, it's kind of all kind of interlinks, doesn't it? Really, and I think, you know, growing up and, you know, your experiences and the books you read and people you kind of look up to, it all kind of models into you as a person, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just forms a mixing pot. And by the time I learned hip hop, you know, from there I just study everybody. I just listen to every single artist, even the ones I don't like. I play them all, and you can just see where you fit from there. I know who I am. I know what I was doing before I got into music, so I listen to the lines that I can relate to. I can hear the flows and the melodies that I can do, and eventually you just start forming your own self. Just like yourself, you're you, but I'm sure there's a lot of other podcasters that help spark some of your own ideas in your head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think, I mean, I definitely looked up to, you know, Joe Rogan and what he does. And there's some other people who do podcasts. Like, you heard of Gary V? Gary, I kind of, because I put this off for like a couple of years, and then I started listening to his content, and he was just saying, you know, just kind of just get out there and do it, you know, just kind of start doing it. And I think, like I said, it goes back to the process kind of thing. Like, yeah, we want, I think sometimes we want things straight away. We want it to blast off straight away, and it doesn't always work like that. And you appreciate it far much more when you look back and how you can kind of grow. I suppose you've seen that in music as well. And like, I think like the music industry and podcast industry is, you know, quite challenging, and there's a lot of people doing it. And I just think, like as you said before, it all kind of interlinks. You know, just be yourself and just put things out there.
Yeah, everything is connected in some way, man. And if you just be yourself, like you said, it's gonna work out for you.
Yeah,
I just say you just got to be true to yourself.
That's it. And I was thinking, like, do you have any like favorite books or anything that you like read at all?
I grew up reading Ed Hardy's, which were mystery books. It's basically these guys or brothers or something that would try to solve mysteries. I'm not into that, so I don't know why I was reading those books.
Yeah.
But that's what I was reading, but I'm not into that shit. Have you ever heard of Del Toro's Quest?
No, what's that?
That was another kid's book that was broken up in like a series of 7. It's very similar to the game Zelda in a way, where the main character is just on a very long journey. He's trying to save his land. I read books like that. I even wrote short stories. I was always writing. Yeah. So I've always kind of had this imagination of kind of being alone on a journey somewhere. I've always kind of identified with that in some way.
Yeah.
So my short stories were like that. Zelda, the game, is like that.
Yeah.
You can hear it in my music. My music is very fuck you. I'm doing this on my own type of deal. Yeah. But in
No,
regards
that's,
to books, man, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't really read as much as I used to. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
No, that's cool. No, it's fine. Like, mate, you being genuine to yourself. And I think like, I think you can learn a lot from, reading. You can learn a lot from, being creative. And I think, definitely in what you're doing, it's, you learn a lot as well. And I was thinking like in like the music industry, would you say like having that kind of support and that community is like a big thing as well that kind of keeps you kind of like going and having the right people around you, because as you just said, like you've got to be quite aware because of like the pressures from side to side and people in the music industry, and you see in documentaries taking advantage of people and that kind of thing. So would you say like being around the right people?
Yeah, I would say, and a lot of engineers and producers will say this. I would say that music is 80 to 90% about the energy and the vibe, and that affects everything. So the
Mm,
people around you, um, that's key. What is their energy like? What is their vibe like? Is it with yours, or do you find yourself kind of changing your patterns and yourself a little bit to match their vibe? If
mm,
that's the case, 9 times out of 10, I don't think those are the people you want around you.
mm,
But those are usually the people we have around us. Like, you're gonna have those buddies that, yo, let's go to the bar, like we used to do back in the day, blah 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 blah,
mm,
and your mind is on this,
mm,
and that energy is gonna fuck up your energy.
mm,
And for me, with music, to answer kind of like that first part you were getting at, with the community and getting the love from the community, that's huge.
mm,
Um, I know that when I'm putting out my music and the people that like my shit love what I'm putting out, this head gets
mm,
like this, and
mm.
I get to working. But I know
Yeah.
when I put out a song and the people I love say, I like the other one better, or this song's my favorite, but yeah, that song's still good. My head start going like this,
Yeah.
and um, so yeah, the love and the support of the community is huge.
Mm, mm,
Like telling me that my shit is good, telling me how you honestly feel about my shit helps an artist or me more than you know.
mm.
Because as you know, or as many artists, up and coming artists know, we're so used to people telling us our shit ain't good enough, our shit ain't like that, you sound like this person, or you could do this. And then you got all the sharks in the business that are saying, come to my studio. No, come to my studio.
Mm.
Or, oh, don't shoot with that videographer. He sucks. Shoot with me.
Yeah.
I'm good. And man, the honest love that a people, when people say, hey man, that shit was fucking dope. I ain't
Mm,
never heard no shit like that. And I can see them and I can tell that they mean it.
mm.
That's where I go for one. That's the videographer I'm gonna go to. That's the engineer I'm gonna go to. I don't care if you suck. If you're giving me the right energy, we're gonna work.
Mm.
We're gonna work together. I don't care who you worked with, whatever. If our energy is good. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, man, the energy and the vibe and the love is huge.
Yeah. No, that's so important, and I think like you got to listen to yourself, isn't it? Like listen to yourself in picking up on those vibes and staying true to what you think is right and what you feel. And I was gonna ask like one last thing is do you have a like a favorite song of yours that you like that you've made? Do you have, or do you just
I'm my own worst critic. My favorite song is the one you haven't heard yet. You know what I
mm,
mean? It's the one I did
yeah.
last night. And then when you hear that, I'm not gonna like that song anymore. and my favorite song's gonna be the next song you haven't heard yet. That's where my mind's at. I'm so focused on what I'm doing right now and tomorrow that what I released last year or last month, that's for you guys. Like, those are my babies. They're in the world now.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I think, well, like, it's a bit like if I do podcast episodes, people say to me, like, who's your favorite guest? I'm like, I'm like, I can't, I can't pinpoint. I like, all the guests I connect with. I mean, I have people that you can connect with and talk about certain topics where you think, yeah, I really connected with that topic, but I don't like to pick. I don't favoritism people at all. It's not my nature. Do you know what I mean? I can say, oh, we had a good conversation on that episode. Check this out, kind of thing.
Yeah. Same thing with my music, I guess you could say. Like, I can't say I like one song more than the other. If that's what you're trying to say, 100%.
That's it. And
yeah.
No, it's powerful, isn't it? And I think, I just want to say, like, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jay, and it's been, great having you on the podcast. And
my pleasure.
I just feel like, you're doing a great job in what you're doing, and we really connect, and it's great seeing what you do, because you believe in something that you're doing and you're passionate about it, and you're being true to yourself. Do you know what I mean? And I respect that. And where can people find you on YouTube, social media, your music, and that kind of thing?
I appreciate all of that, brother. And everybody can find me, or you can find me at Who Is Jay Gudda. That's JayGudda. Who Is Jay Gudda? YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all that. But I also want to plug that you can find me on Fortnite at Who Is Jay Gudda, and you can find me on Pokemon Go, Who Is Jay Gudda. So fuck with the kid. Check out the music first, though. Check out the music first.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. No, cool. That's it. And no, definitely. And I'll definitely put all those links and things in the description as well. And I just wish you continued success in your music. And I'll always kind of share and promote what you're doing as well. And just all the best in what you're doing. And massive thank you to the guys at the Ryan Show for connecting us.
Right back at you. All the blessings coming to you as well. And let's do this again, man.
Yeah. No, of course. Sounds good to me. Definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely. Yeah. You take it easy, Jay.
You as well, brother.
Cheers, man.